Hey, this is Ryan.
This is Travis.
Welcome to Bacon Bits,
where we talk about whatever the heck we want.
Because we're bacon, and we don't care a bit. Get ready to love. Because we got such an awesome story for you. We have our friend Miguel again.
Miguel is back in his house.
In the house. He's got his chain on. He's got his do-rag. Dang, Miguel, you looking fly.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you're totally lying to him. He's dressed up. He looks super good. He's got some... Actually, those are super fly shoes. I like those.
Thank you.
I did say he was looking fly.
He was looking fly. That's true. That's the one true thing you said.
Minus the do-rag.
Also, we're going to be talking about dogs today. Specifically corgis.
My favorite.
The best dogs.
The best.
The goodest of good boys.
So we brought Miguel back in because we wanted to see if he could tell us a legend of corgis. And he's done the best that he can today to prepare, and he's probably going to just wing it.
He found he found a scroll from ancient times, and he's going to read us the tale of this ancient corgi.
That is the case indeed. The Scroll of Bjork.
Yes!
Scroll of Bjork, indeed. All right.
Scroll of Bjork.
The legend of Bjork begins.
Okay, kids, grab your blankets and popcorn.
All right. Let's begin.
Perfect. So, in the beginning, there were the Norse gods. Odin, Thor, Loki. Most of them you know. However, one that is never mentioned was one of their furry companions named Bjork.
Woo, Bjork!
Bjork!
Now, Bjork was a corgi, and Odin actually had two very fine, pristine wolves named Jerry and Freki, who always made fun of Bjork.
Dang it, Frecky.
They were tall, they were strong, they were noble, they were vicious. They followed Odin wherever he went. But Bjork was never allowed to come with them.
They gave Bjork so much crap.
Because he was short. Because he had stubby little legs.
Cute little legs.
And because he looked like a loaf of bread. And if you know anything about war, you cannot ride a loaf of bread into battle.
Nor can you ride a corgi. It's just not a good time.
Well, I'm sure Frickin' can't do any better.
Frickin' can't do it.
Anyway, one day Odin received a letter from Farsung the Enchanter.
Ooh.
And it declared war on Midgard. Unless Odin would give up the seat and give up the crown of Asgard.
No.
What the heck? Why would he? That's a dumb thing. Like
Exactly,
Midgard doesn't really
yeah.
matter. Like,
That's
like,
a
I don't
stupid.
know.
It's just
ultimatum.
us. Like it's human.
Yeah.
Hey.
Taste my corgi.
Hey, this is the legend. I had nothing to do with this.
He's just reading from the scroll.
He's reading from
dude.
the scroll.
Come
Sorry.
on.
Continue.
Farsung sent Enchantress. Amora was her real name.
Of course.
Oh, she sounds hot.
And she went and she spoke with him face to face and said that they had 14 days before her and the rest of the enchanters and the army of frost giants that they had gathered would invade Asgard.
Oh, they got all sorts of crap on there.
It's
Odin was not ready to bow before anybody else. Neither was Thor. Neither was the rest of the Norse pantheon.
Ooh.
So they prepared for war. The preparations began. They sharpened their steel knives and their steel swords and all the other sharp things that you prepare, unless you're Thor, in which case you don't have sharp things. You just have a really heavy hammer.
You just blunt your hammer more.
Really, really heavy. So, Thor did, I don't know, push-ups or something.
Sharpened his teeth.
Nice.
Yeah, sharpened his
He sharpened his corgi's
He's-
claws.
And while everyone was
Bjork.
preparing, so were the hounds of Odin. Jerry and Freki went around and they collected as many fine and noble wolves as they could to join them in this fight against the enchanters. Bjork, however, was never invited.
It's come on! It's war. You need every man you
He's the
got.
cutest of all the warriors. Why
He
would
will
you not
distract the
invite
crap
him?
out of those enemies.
Okay.
Bjork was never thought to be much of a fighter. He was the runt of his litter, and corgis are small to begin with.
Yeah, they're tiny.
But what Bjork lacked in stature, he made up for in courage
What like he
and in heart. And that was something that would come to be very beneficial for the rest of the pantheon. You see, what happened was the enchanters came with their army of frost giants. And while Odin and Thor and Loki and all of the other Norse gods did the best that they could,
The ones whose
to
names
stop
are
them.
unpronounceable.
They just could not succeed.
No!
The giants kept coming, and there were more and more,
ice
and they
giants.
just seemed like they were never going to stop.
Freaking Amora seduced him.
Jerry and Frecky and all of the other wolves that they had found to help fight in this battle proved to not be a match for the
Did they
frost
die?
giants.
Did they die?
They did not die.
Oh, okay.
This
They
is a
just
children's
retreated.
story.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Sorry, kid friendly.
Kid friendly.
Odin lost his staff. Thor lost his hammer.
No! What?
Gosh,
Loki also lost his magical staff.
the one that he
what?
turned.
There are a
what's his
lot of
name?
stabs in Asgard.
Agent Coulson into a bad, or he turned him into a shish kebab.
Yeah, people were losing stuff.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. So you see, Thor without his hammer is just a really buff blonde dude.
Like me.
Can't talk in regular English.
Yeah. And so the problem
Also,
was
like you.
that without their magical weapons, they could not fight back. They stood no chance against the frost giants and the enchanters
And enchantresses.
and enchantresses. This is true. This is we appreciate everyone's ability to
All
become
of the
an enchanter.
enchanters
Yep.
and enchantresses,
He's
Like
or she's,
Amora.
everyone could
especially
yeah.
Amora.
hmm Yep, she was an
Delectable
enchantress.
Sonora.
Stop it.
Anyway, Bjork looked from the tower that he was in and he watched as the people that he cared for, the people that he loved, fell to the frost giants and the enchanters. He looked around for ways that he could help. He wished and he wished that he could find a way to be beneficial to the people of his home. And then he had an idea. Bjork was a courageous corgi. He knew no fear, hence his name, Bjork the Fearless.
Oh, he must have a Triforce.
He put on his robe and he set his little paws to the ground and he ran as fast as he possibly could.
Look at him run. He's so cute.
And the reason that Bjork was so beneficial is because no one could see him really.
No one could take him seriously.
You see,
probably, too.
frost giants stand about 6 to 7 feet tall.
Oh, that's true, actually, yeah.
That's
The
right.
enchanters fly.
Oh,
And Bjork
Ran through the
stood at
corridors.
about 1.5 feet at the shoulder.
oh my gosh, I'm pointing out his shoulders.
So no one paid him mind. But what he did is he ran. He ran around the battleground until he found Thor's hammer. And normally the hammer is not to be picked up by anyone who was not worthy. But this day we found out that Bjork was worthy. That his
Power of
soul
heart, boy.
and his heart were pure.
Hey.
So Bjork picked up the hammer and he ran around and he found Thor and he gave it to him.
But flew back.
And Thor was able to join the fray once more. He was able to fight the frost giants and the enchanters and push them back. And so Bjork thought to himself, why stop here? And he continued to run, and he found the weapons of the fallen gods. He found the spear that Odin had once had, and he ran back like the biggest bone or the biggest stick that he'd ever played with in the game of fetch.
Oh. That guy's
Bjork
trained.
was an epic fetcher.
Yes.
So Bjork brought
Take
Odin
that,
his
Frecky.
spear back. And Odin, too, was able to bring back the fight. And he found Loki's staff, and he brought it to Loki. And he found all of the other weapons that had been dropped by the Norse gods. And they were able to once more join and fight and push back the evil frost giants and the enchanters that were trying to take over Asgard. The battle continued, and Bjork just continued to support, biting ankles, tripping people, tying shoelaces together. Everything that he could do to
Snow
prove
giants wear
himself
shoes.
a worthy hero.
Make sure you wear shoes, kids. Snow
When the
giants.
fight was over, the frost giants ran away. The enchanters realized that they were no match for the combined forces of the Norse gods and Bjork.
Oh, yeah. Bjork is becoming Norse god status himself, honestly, right now.
When it was all said and done, there was a celebration in honor of Bjork himself.
Oh.
There were lots of bones and chicken nuggets
Yeah.
available for Bjork.
Chicken nuggets.
The banners that waved around Asgard were replaced with pictures of Bjork himself.
Wow, that's actually
The gods were so pleased with Bjork they wanted to honor him by creating the cutest race of dogs ever. they felt that it was not that it was not right, and it was not fair that corgis could only live on Asgard. So they gave Bjork
Origin story.
the status of a god.
Yes.
He was ascended, and he was allowed to create a race on Midgard, which we know as Earth. And that is how the corgi came to be here among us.
Yay! That was a good story.
Beautiful story.
Wasn't
Beautiful
that
story.
great, kids?
The research and the scroll reading. He had to read it through a lot of runes in order to understand what the heck was going on with that. It was a loose translation. I don't know if you caught some. There was some liberty taken in trying to read the harder to read parts, but yeah, that was the legend of Bjork.
Bjork
and the
forever.
Creation of the corgi. In all seriousness, though, like, why do you love corgis so much?
I honestly don't know.
Besides the fact that they're freaking adorable. Why do you love corgis?
I think that's really it. I think it's just. I think that yeah, you can't put words to love. It's just something you know.
Yeah. You just feel it.
I feel like every person growing up knows that, like, or is told, when you find the one, you'll just know.
Right? This man gets it.
This was it. Like, when you find the breed of dog that was like meant for you.
Yes.
You just know. No,
your inner corgi will howl in semblance with it.
In all seriousness, I just think they're ridiculously cute. On top
cute.
of that, I think it just kind of it started there, and then I actually sort of looked into like corgis and a little bit of their origin. And they were like, corgis are Welsh, and according to some of the stuff that I read up on, they were actually owned by Vikings.
Yes.
So,
really?
Yeah.
Norse.
So I just think of like I have a corgi calendar that was gifted to me by one of my friends, and there's a picture on there that one of my coworkers drew on, and it is a corgi with a Viking like beard and a Viking braid and a Viking cloak. And that is where Bjork came from.
Yes.
Yeah, corgis are actually super cool. They're actually used to be used as like what are they called? Like sheepdog.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Maybe not for sheep specifically, but they were used to like round up animals.
How would they be fast enough?
So it wasn't, maybe not necessarily because they were fast, but the reason that corgis were so effective is that they have really short, stubby paws. And
Which
so
I would
whenever
imagine would be why they're ineffective. But go on.
But so the reason and that they're like really effective was that whenever the animals that they were hurting, whether it be like, cows or sheep or whatever,
or freckies.
if they were ever to try and kick at a dog, the corgi was actually too short for them to actually kick
Really?
it. Yeah. So whenever they tried to kick the corgi,
That's awesome.
the kicks would just go over, which made them incredibly effective, like hurting dogs, because they could not be kicked. They
Couldn't even
just
kick
be
them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so corgis have like a.
Be proud that you're short then. Come on. Yes.
Corgis have sort of this like I don't know, like the Queen of England. She has like a bunch of corgis, and that's like she just has like that is my goal in life, not to become the Queen of England, but to just have a bunch of corgis.
The Queen of England has been struck by the corgi cord.
Yeah, so that's kind of just where it came from. I just love corgis. I think they're my phone background is a corgi.
That's awesome.
And I just think they're really cool. I really want one for like when I grow up. I feel like it's definitely like the dog breed that I'll end up having. And
Oh, totally.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Totally.
So that's just kind of it.
Along with a German Shepherd to protect your family.
Corgis will protect.
Corgis
He protects.
That's
He
true
protects.
because of Bjork.
All right, well, we're going to go and look at some pictures of corgis because they're freaking adorable. And,
Freaking love.
Sometimes you just need to be made happy, and corgis will do that for you.
If you feel that
They will.
corgi cord, stand up and testify. Go get a corgi today. Pet a corgi.
Just find a corgi. Watch a funny video of corgis like running.
Look up corgi videos. They're actually
Corgi
so
running
funny.
is a really funny video. But
Oh my gosh.
We'll
You
get
will
at it.
Feel this love.
Corgis trying to jump is really fun.
that too.
You'll feel the love of a corgi. You'll feel that corgi cord.
Go check out those videos, and just
Strike a corgi cord.
have a corgi day. Have a corgi day.
I feel
The corgi is the day.
Have the corgi
Yes.
day.
We be out.
We'll be checking out.
Bjork forever.